everyone, this is Mr. Sparrowhawk. We are on page 7 of the Standard of Excellence, book 1. We've got a clarinet. I've got my reed. I haven't tried out my reeds yet today. I like to do this fresh every time just so that you can kind of get how this works, because you guys are beginners mostly out there, and so you know, you have reed issues to deal with, right? So we get this thing lined up. We make sure that it's wet. Mine has been soaking in a little cup of water that I have right here. And so it should be good and wet. A lot of people have to, when you're in class, you have to put it in your mouth and get some moisture on there, get some saliva on there, and let it get good and damp. Once it soaks in the wood, the reed becomes more loose and it vibrates better. And that's the whole point of it, right? So let's see how the clarinet sounds today. Let's see how Mr. Sparrowhawk sounds today. So those are our 3 notes. They're coming out okay. I think I'm going to go with this one today. And I'm going to lower the camera angle a little bit just so you can see my fingers better. And when we play through this, keep in mind that, you know, you're working on strength, and so you may need to take breaks. You might notice that because I don't practice the clarinet every day, I may get a little tired as well. When I've shot a previous video, I had that issue a little bit at the end of one of the pages. So you could hear it, and it sort of wobbles. Blah, 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 blah. So when it gets to that point, that just means you need to take a little break, and then if you want to keep practicing, you keep practicing. And then the more you practice, the more often you practice, the less that will happen to you, and you'll start to get to where you've developed your dexterity, and you can last a little bit longer, and you can sit there and play for you know, full 30 minutes or more, and it doesn't bother you really a bit. So it takes a little bit of time. All right, so let's play through this page, starting out with number 8, A Breath of Fresh Air. We have 2 notes in a row. Because the clarinet doesn't use a lot of air, I'm going to say let's skip those breath marks. If we were taking a breath, we would say da, da, and so on count 4 of the first whole note, we take a quick breath in. I'm not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to breathe in. We're going to take our full lung capacity, as we always do when we breathe in, hopefully. And we're going to push the air out. We're going to start the first air with tongue sound, T, ta, ta. Right in the middle, we put another ta to start the second note, okay? And we make sure each note gets its full 4 counts with just that slight blip of a break in between them, okay? So let's try it, starting out with 2 E's, so thumb and first finger. I'm going to move off to the side a little bit here so you can see better. And let's give this a whirl here.
1, 2, ready, play.
Okay, number 9, it's kind of the same basic principle, and we'll do the same thing with not taking the breath, but just using our tongue to separate the 2 whole notes. But this time we have to also sync our tongue up with our fingers, and that gets tricky, okay? When you're trying to leave just a tiny bit of blip of space in between, that means that you really have to make sure this is down before you get that, during that little blip of space, okay? And before you start the next T sound, right? So if you do it too soon, if you breathe too soon, or rather move the key too soon, then you will get an extra note, you know? See? So you don't want that extra note in there. You want to try to sync your tongue and your fingers up with each other. Let's try it side by side.
1, 2, ready, play.
10, 2 by 2. Very similar concept to number 9, just with different notes in different order, or the same notes in different order. So let's give it a try. Watch that tongue and fingers.
1, 2, ready, play.
Okay, on number 11, we have 3 half notes in a row. This is the first time we've seen half notes. So hopefully you know by now that half notes are 2 counts each. You're going to be exhaling for 6 total counts. 2 plus 2 plus 2. 3 half notes, right? So when you do that, you'll do the same thing with the tongue that we did before, which is separate your 3 notes with the tongue. So you're not putting too much space in between them. But you're hearing a definite start to each note. And then again, making sure not to end the last half note with your tongue, okay? When you have a rest, you want to make sure that you just stop the air and you're not turning it off by closing anything in the mouth like your tongue. You're just stop pushing out, basically. Some people even like to take in a breath. So let's try this. Number 11, half the price. And also don't get stuck in your rhythmic pattern. Keep your eyes tracking across. Watch those last 2 measures.
Number 11, half the price.
Here we go.
1, 2, ready, play.
Okay, number 12, we have our 3 notes mixed up a little bit more, and we've got a little more variety in our melody, basically. It's starting to sound a little bit more like a melody than most of our songs have so far. Sometimes our little 3-note pattern, rhythmic pattern, ends on a half note, and sometimes it ends on a whole note. So just try to make a difference between those. Whole notes should be the full 4 counts. But the breath mark at the end of that first whole note, you'll probably want to take, so it may only get about 3 counts if you do that. So let's give it a try. Number 12.
Cardiff by the Sea.
1, 2, ready, play.
Okay, number 13 is a duet. You have 2 different parts. So what we're going to do is the first time through, I'll play the A part while the recording is playing the B part. Second time through, I will play the B part while the recording is playing the A part. So you'll hear both parts of the duet together. So let's give it a try. Again, keep your eye on the 3rd note of each of those patterns, kind of like the last one. Sometimes they're whole notes, sometimes they're half notes. Make a difference.
1, 2, ready, play.
All right, now the B part.
This time,
1, 2, ready, play.
this is the last one of the page. We have number 14, Go for Excellence, which I like to use as a quiz sometimes for my classes. It's the first song that really has a good variety in the melody and in the rhythm. So you don't just have these 3-note patterns or one particular rhythm happening over and over. You have varied rhythms almost throughout the whole thing. So it really is testing how well you've been tracking the notes all along, whether you have something memorized or not. And then how quickly are you recognizing the notes as you track across them? Are you remembering what note is what? How many counts to hold different values of notes? Okay, so let's give it a try. Number 14.
Number 14. Go for excellence.
1, 2, ready, play.
Okay, nice job, everybody. We will hopefully see you again on the next page. Bye.